Hello everyone. Today we will see subroutines and functions in EV3 Basic and how to use them as well as some basic differences between the two. Subroutines and functions are statements grouped together to perform a task that is to be done in various parts of the program. When a subroutine or function is invoked, the same group of statements is executed. If a change has to be made in any of those statements, then we need to only make the change in the place where it is defined. And if we would not use them, then we would have to make the change at many places in the program, which is not feasible. So let's get to subroutines in EV3 Basic. Subroutines are defined with the sub keyword, which is followed by the name of the subroutine, which follows all the naming rules of variables. Then we have the code that we want to repeat, and it is followed by the end sub keyword. Now, when we execute this program, nothing will happen because the subroutine has only been defined. We need to call it also. To call it, we can just write the name of the subroutine followed by open and closing brackets. So here we have a simple program which calls the subroutine multiple times as such. And now let's get to functions. Functions are a bit tricky in EV3 Basic. For defining functions, we first need to define f.start and set it equal to the name of our function. It is followed by f.function, and in parentheses we have the name of our function and followed by arguments. These arguments are separated by spaces. So I have one argument named name, then I can have one age, and so they are separated by spaces. Then we have a subroutine. This is the actual code that gets executed when we call the function. So it is same like the previous example. We have a sub keyword followed by the name. Now this name of the subroutine has to be same as the name of the function. Then we have the code that we want to repeat and a return block and then the end sub keyword. Now functions are called in a different way. To call functions we need f.call followed by the number of arguments with which we want to call it. For no arguments we call it with 0 and the maximum number of arguments we can call it with is 20. So if we have f.call 10, then we will the first argument passed to this function is the name of the function that we want to call and then a comma separated list of all the arguments. So this first argument is the name. If I had multiple arguments, then they would be comma separated values. So let's take a look at the output. As you can see, we first call it with hello and ohm, so it prints hello ohm. Then we did not pass it any name, so it printed hello 0. So by default, every argument, if it is not passed anything, then it will be given the value of 0. And then we have hello Bob. If we wanted to take something other than 0 as the default value, we can put a colon in front of the argument and then give it a value. So like this. Um, if we type ABC over here, then notice when we have not passed it any argument, it will print hello ABC. So it will make the default value for name ABC if it is not passed anything. And if we do not define this default value, then it will be given the default value of 0. This program describes the importance of creating subroutines and functions. So we have three subroutines. One is follow line, which contains the code to follow line for some x distance. This x will be passed to the subroutine. Then we have a grab object in which there is code to grab the object in front of the robot. And we have a release object which will just release the object that is currently in grasp. So first we grab the object and then we follow a line for some 100 units. Then we release the object at that place. We follow a line for another 5000 units. We again grab an object, follow line for 900 units, release the object and end the program. So in this place we had to call follow line many multiple times and even grab object and release object. So in if I had to change the code for follow line, I would need to only make the change over here and that would change it for all the places where it occurred in the program. Now, some differences between functions and subroutines. Functions can have local variables, whereas subroutines do not have any local variables, but they can access the global variables. Functions can pass arguments which can be accessed by using the f.get method. Subroutines cannot be passed arguments. We can have a workaround that we can use global variables instead, as it was shown in the previous example of subroutines. And functions can be terminated during execution using the f.return or f.return number and f.return text methods. And these can also return values. But subroutines cannot be terminated during execution and neither can they return any values. Thank you for watching. Please remember to share, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below.